Hey there guys, welcome back to AFC Game by Game. I hope you all had a lovely Christmas, and I hope for the time being at least you're feeling ever so slightly more positive about Arsenal. We've drawn 1-1 today away from home at Bournemouth in Mikel Arteta's first game in charge as Arsenal manager, and I know that scoreline isn't exactly going to set the world on fire, but it's a building block for me. It was a positive performance. We played some very good football, a refreshing performance after what has been such stale football in the past couple of weeks. It was interesting when we had Lundberg in charge. The shackles were off a little bit. The players kind of had free roam over what they did. But with Mikel Arteta in charge, you can tell there's a clear strategy, a clear way of doing things. And the performance today, I think, really echoed exactly what we want to see from an Arsenal team. Result-wise, obviously, it's a kind of meaningless result for us. A draw away from home against Bournemouth, frankly, it's not good enough. We need to win these sort of games. But given the way we've been playing, I think it's just unrealistic to assume that we're going to go to Bournemouth away from home and get a win. I mean, this is a side that have lost 6 of their last 7 league games, but they are a tough opposition away from home. They got a great result against Chelsea not too long ago. They're riddled with injuries, as are we. It was always going to be a tough game, an unpredictable one, and given that it's Mikel Arteta's very first game in charge at the highest level of football, I think we can certainly take this result as a positive building block going into that game against Chelsea. And it's very important not to be too negative, because I think we can beat Chelsea, and that game is going to be very unpredictable, especially given the way Chelsea have been flip-flopping recently. They lost 2-0 today to Southampton, but then they beat Spurs the other day, so they're really all over the place. But I think if we play the way we did today, and we're a bit more lethal, a bit more potent in front of goal, then we will win that game, because we do have the calibre of players to do it. And this is a side, an Arsenal team that is riddled with injuries at the moment. Let's not forget that we've got Tierney out, we've got Kolasinac out, we've got Holding out, we've got Bellerin out. We've got so many players out through injury, and I am very excited about what this team can achieve under Mikel Arteta. Obviously disappointed to concede the first goal. I really don't think we deserved that in this game. We were creating so many opportunities. We didn't have any shots on target, but I think you can read a bit too much into that. We didn't have any shots on target, but the amount of positions we got into, the amount of chances we created, the reason we didn't have any shots on target is because our striker up top wasn't really delivering. Very poor game from Lacazette. I hate to say that. I love the guy, but he has been poor away from home. I think he's got something like 6 goals in his entire career at Arsenal away from the Emirates. So it's quite worrying, to be honest, because I don't think he's capable of leading the line away from home. If Aubameyang was in his place, then I think we maybe would have taken a few of those opportunities. But unfortunately, we have to shift him out to the left in order to accommodate the two of them. And it was interesting to see Nelson start this game, who also was at the wrong end of a lot of criticism, or wrong end, right end, whatever way you look at it. I think you've got to be quite frank. His crossing was very poor today, as was Bukayo Saka's. Had they been a little bit more on point, if they'd have cut it back rather than hoofed it into the air on so many occasions, then maybe we'd have got a couple more goals in this game. But again, another player that's incredibly young, but he is playing in the Premier League, so you do expect him to deliver. I think there were a few moments where he did things exceptionally well. There was a moment in the game where he made an amazing, mazy dribble, practically half the length of the pitch, and again, it's just the final ball where he lets himself down a bit. And I think it was great at the end, Mikel Arteta putting his arm around him. I think Nelson, understandably, was frustrated with his performance. Arteta being encouraging, I think it's great to see. And I do think there is a lot to see from Nelson. And let's not forget, he is still very, very young, very raw. It's going to take him time. So I'm excited about what he can produce. But today, I just don't think it was his day, but he's going to get more opportunities in this Arsenal team. And with the FA Cup coming up, more opportunities there. So very excited about his development over the next 6 months or so. And then, we saw Torreira and Xhaka start in the midfield. I thought they were excellent, the two of them. Torreira in particular was fantastic. Xhaka, since he's come back into the team, since he's been relieved of his captain duties, I think might get a bit of criticism for this, but I think he's been excellent. I think he's been a really, really good player for us. And irrespective of what is going to happen with him, we've been told that his agent has supposedly said that he wants to leave to Hertha Berlin. Don't know what to make of that. If we're going to let go of Xhaka, then we have to bring somebody in, because our midfield, if we're going to rely on Torreira, Ceballos, Guendouzi, Joe Willock, it's just too weak. It's not going to be capable of doing it. Xhaka is a very good player when he's on the ball and when he's in a balanced midfield alongside someone such as Lucas Torreira. So if we're going to lose him, we have to replace him in the January transfer window. If it's going to be in the summer, and I hope Xhaka continues to play in the way that he has done recently. But it'll be interesting to see how things play out there. But obviously, given recent events with Xhaka, it's kind of understandable that he might want to move on from the club. So be interested to see how that one plays out. But at the moment, he's a very important player for us and a very good player for us. I think that should certainly be recognised. Defensively, I thought we were a lot better today as well. Maybe that was because we dominated possession so much more than we have been recently. But I thought Socrates and Luiz, it's hard to criticise either of them. Obviously, the goal was really of our own doing, giving the ball away from the goal kick and then not clearing it when we needed to. Saka completely out of position, but there was an interesting tactic where Saka went forward, Xhaka dropped into left back whenever Saka bombed forward, so both of them really caught out of position at the exact same time, which allowed the Bournemouth players to get into that space and then eventually cut the ball back for their goal. So it was unfortunate, poor defending again, but we have seen that time after time this season. But I think as well, you've got to recognise that Socrates put in some good challenges today, and I've been immensely critical of him this season, and I still don't think he's the answer at centre back. I still think we need to be looking to someone like Callum Chambers, to Rob Holding. He went off today with a concussion. Hopefully he recovers soon, because I mean, we've got so many injuries at the moment. Even Socrates would be a blow at the minute. David Luiz, I thought, was excellent today. I think he put some really good balls through, made some excellent opportunities for the Arsenal players up front. So defensively, I was feeling a lot more positive about things, and Maitland-Niles made some good runs going forward, defended relatively well. I still think that he's not our strongest option at right back. I think we're all quite aware of that. Bellerin coming back into the team will be a big boost when he is back and firing on all cylinders. But I think overall, I mean, today's not the result I wanted, and I do feel frustrated because we had all the credentials, the ability, the chances to win this game, and we haven't. That's the most frustrating thing. I'm not frustrated at the way Arteta has lined the team up. I'm not frustrated at the way we played. I can't be critical of this Arsenal team in that sense. The only thing I can be critical of is that Lacazette didn't take the opportunities when they came to him, because he had so many chances to put this game to bed, especially in that first half. He should have had a hat-trick. He had that many opportunities. So that'd be the one thing from a Mikel Arteta perspective I might look at going away from home, possibly take Aubameyang off, and maybe Pepe should have entered the game a bit earlier, because we did have a few more chances when he came on. But I think there's a lot to be excited about this Arsenal team, and I think I am completely understanding of people that didn't want Arteta to come on board, and they're not happy with the appointment because he's got no experience, he's not a proven winner, etc, etc, etc. But I've said it before, I'll say it again, I don't think this is a job that's necessarily about a manager's CV, their experience. I think it's much more about finding a right cultural fit. I think Arteta is that perfect man, and I think if you're writing him off, if you're seriously unhappy with how Arsenal performed today, I just think you've got to take a look at yourselves, because we came to this game in 11th place against 14th place Bournemouth. This was always going to be a tough ask. We're not the team that I think a lot of fans assume we are. We're not a massive force at the moment. We are a rebuilding job. We are a mess of a team. And if Arteta can bring in some stability, if he can improve the team in the summer transfer window and in the short term in the January transfer window, we definitely have the building blocks of a club that can go on to be one of those elite teams. But at the moment, we are nowhere near that level, and you've got to be realistic about where we are as a club at the moment, and you cannot be negative in a situation like this, especially when we perform well today in what has been one of our better performances in so long. We haven't got the result, and this is a results business, but if we'd have won this game in the way that we beat Bournemouth earlier on in the season, that 1-0 win at home, I'm sure you'll remember that game, David Luiz's header, where it was dreadful, awful game. I'd be more concerned if we put in that type of performance and got the win. Honestly, I would be a lot more concerned. Today, we've played extremely well. We've been unfortunate that we haven't taken our chances in front of goal. And I think it's I'm not going to say it's a good point, but it's a good building block in terms of getting the club back to where it needs to be. And if you're being negative about this, then you're really not helping the situation that Arsenal Football Club is currently in. I think you've got to back the manager, you've got to back these players, and I do think we can achieve things this season. We go into the FA Cup next month, we've got the Europa League to play for, we're still not out of top 4. And I know that sounds ludicrous. It takes 3 or 4 wins on the bounce to get us back in contention for that, and that's more than doable if we continue to build on the way we play today. So don't write top 4 off. Don't think about it though for the time being. Don't think about it until about March, and we'll see where we are then. Then we can talk about being in contention for it. But realistically, we're still within touching distance of it. And as I say, there's so much to play for. There's so much to be excited about. Why would you be negative right now? We've had enough negativity this season. Don't need it at Arsenal right now. We need to be positive. We need to get behind this team. And that's all I've got to say. I hope you all had a great Christmas. I'm looking forward to that game against Chelsea. In fact, I'm buzzing for that game against Chelsea. I'm really looking forward to that one. Drop a like on this video if you have enjoyed it. Let me know your thoughts on Arteta's first game in the comments box below. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. And as always, I'll be speaking to you very, very soon. See you later, guys.